Going the distance for local sports. This is X Sports Today.
Financial advisor Scott Beasley knows time spent with family is everything. As a founder of Beasley Wealth Management, his mission is to give clients the freedom to enjoy time with family without the burden of financial concerns. A local of Lawrenceburg, Scott deeply values building relationships with clients, ensuring they make informed decisions concerning asset management, tax planning, and retirement planning. Offering a free initial consultation, Beasley Wealth Management helps clients pursue their aspirations with confidence.
Are you tired of missing out on family life just to be treated like another truck number? Since 1986, Southeast Carriers has been a family-operated business based in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. Being family-owned ourselves, we understand the importance of family, which is why we value it above all else. With our large number of dedicated lanes and our friendly staff, we are able to evenly divide your home time with the amount of time you spend on the road. We offer multiple benefits with large company pay now starting at $20 per hour, all while keeping a small company environment. For more information, visit our website, southeastcarriers.com, or check us out on Instagram and Facebook.
At C&B Linen, fast, friendly, and reliable service is our promise to you. Because you're not just a customer, you're family. From multi-use linen to branded floor coverings and a complete range of cleaning supplies, C&B Linen is here to make sure you have everything you need. From our high-quality products to our fast, friendly, and reliable service, you'll experience the difference with C&B Linen. Because you're not just a client, you're part of our family. You'll be winning with C&B Linen.
Lawrenceburg Flooring and More is your premier source for hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl tile, sheet vinyl, residential and commercial carpet, carpet tiles, ceramic and porcelain tile, waterproof floating floor, plus blinds and shutters. Lawrenceburg Flooring and More is also home to all name brands and can tackle projects big and small. Installation, you're covered with installers who've got years of experience and stand behind their work. Let Lawrenceburg Flooring and More make your design dreams a reality. 2760 Highway 43 North, or visit lawrenceburgflooringandmore.com.
What really matters during the ball game, we're at that point in the season where some are just beginning, some have already ended, and others are at that point where it's either win or go home. Depending on what your perspective is, it changes everything, doesn't it? In 2 Corinthians 4 and verse 18, we're reminded we don't look at the things that are seen, but at the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are temporary, but the things that are unseen are eternal. Keep your focus, keep your perspective on the right things, the things of God, the eternal things. And that message brought to you by your friends at the Leoma Church of Christ.
Make your lawn a legacy. At Legacy Lawn and Landscapes, we put more than 16 years of experience into your goals. We won't meet your expectations, we'll exceed them. We offer consultation, installation, maintenance, hardscapes, construction, and land clearing services. Owner John and Jamie Brewer with their team are dedicated to providing the highest quality landscape services to commercial and residential clients in Middle Tennessee. Service, teamwork, results. That's how you leave a legacy.
Going the distance for local sports. This is X Sports Today.
Welcome to X Sports Today here on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Taylor Plott, I'm AJ Good, joined by Hayden Burks as well. And guys, it's been a busy sports week, and we're ramping some things up tonight. Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Series tied up in 1 apiece, and boy, guys, we've got a big one here tonight.
Yeah, we definitely do, and going back on what we've talked about this entire week, this is a huge game, at least in my opinion. Obviously both teams, but Oklahoma City in particular, because you still have that kind of bad taste in your mouth from the game 1. You win game 2, now you really got to win game 3 and put the pressure on Indiana.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big game for Oklahoma City. They're going to have to bear down defensively. Obviously, we've seen Indiana; they're probably the best team on the road so far this playoff run. Only 3 losses. We keep on bringing that up. But also, I did some research last night. Pascal Siakam's averaging like 22 points a game at their house.
Yeah.
So he's doing his thing offensively there. So they're going to have to buckle down on defense. And, they didn't play their best in game 2. They probably played better in game 1 than they did game 2, but they were able to win. So it's talked about yesterday. Game 3 and 4 are going to be crucial for this series, and it starts tonight with Game 3.
Yep.
Yeah, Oklahoma City of 40 games on the road this year, guys, are 32-8. The Pacers in 40 games at home, 29-11. So one team, actually both teams are really good on the road. Both teams are really good at home. But you look at it here. This is a very crucial game. We did talk about it yesterday, but Game 3, when you think about it, Oklahoma City, if you can take one. Now look at the way. If the series goes 7, Game 7's at your gym, you're guaranteed at least one more game at your gym in game number 5. But you win this one, you still home court advantage from Indiana. And if this thing does go 7, you're playing the most important game of your season, probably of your franchise, for both franchises in your home building.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams are looking for their first championship in franchise history. Indiana, they already took home court advantage winning that Game 1 coming back from behind. We talked about how they kept it within 10, and then we all said, they keep it in 10. This Indiana team, they're going to go on a run. That's for sure. We've seen it through every playoff series that they've had with Milwaukee, Cleveland, beat New York in 6 games. So it's going to be tough for Oklahoma City. They're going to have to buckle down for sure. But one thing's for sure, that if Oklahoma can get it, they've taken home court advantage back, regardless of what happens in Game 4. Obviously, they're going to try to win Game 4. But if you win tonight, you've got a good shot to get Game 5 and be up 3-2, or win the series back at your gym.
Yeah, one of the things you have to do, I think one of the big keys tonight, just from an Oklahoma City perspective, is, yes, obviously you got to keep in the back of your mind that Indiana does like to play games very tight late and end up either winning or at least making it very close. But you need to come out and just absolutely punch them in the mouth to start with. You need to be able to, if Oklahoma City is leading by about 10 points going into the second period or second quarter, I think that is a win for Oklahoma City. You need to come out strong. You need to come out showing that, hey, we're not afraid to play at your place. We're going to put the pressure on you, but you do that. You need to keep your pedal, or keep your foot on the pedal.
Putting 2 words together.
He called it a period. He's been watching too much hockey.
I've been watching too much hockey now. Yeah. You know what I mean. Put your pedal to the metal, keep it down there, and put Indiana in a corner and see if you can take that Game 3.
Which player from each side needs to have a big game tonight?
Well, obviously, Shea's going to have to be that guy. Of course, he's been doing his thing. I'm going to lean on Miles Turner. He's the guy for Indiana. Yeah. I think needs to. He came in clutch down the stretch in Game 1. He hit some incredible shots where leaning. I'm thinking, ain't no way that's going in. And banks it in. Yeah. A long mid-range jumper at the elbow at the end of the game in Game 1. So he struggled a little bit in Game 2. Obviously, he's going to be a defensive threat down low. His blocking, his ability to block shots. That's going to be big for Indiana down the stretch. But one of the things that Indiana's going to do is make sure to keep him out of foul trouble too. Because what they need to do is attack Oklahoma City. Obviously Shea's going to get his and all that stuff, but you need to attack Hartenstein. You need to attack Holmgren, because those are the 2 big guys down there for him. You need to try to attack Williams if he can, because if he's not on the floor, I'm not going to say he's a glue guy, but he is a big factor for them offensively for Oklahoma City.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Chet Holmgren. Because I feel like if obviously you have outside presence on both sides, and from Oklahoma City side, I really think you need to get him not just established, but he needs to try to take over the game down low. Because I feel like once you do that, now you've got more focus on what he's doing down low, and it opens up your outside shooting, and you can get multiple opportunities from 3. But I think, honestly, that goes for both teams. I think they really need to get some inside presence going. But if Oklahoma City can do that and Chet has another really good game, then I think that could even open up the outside a lot more.
Yeah. The stats, when you take a look at the stats, if the one stat's going to tell the difference in this game, what's it going to be?
It's turnovers, in my opinion. Obviously, we saw it in Game 1, which I still can't believe that they won. But at one point, I looked at the stat sheet, and it was like Indiana had 22 turnovers to Oklahoma's 9. So that's going to be big for them. 3-point percentage between both teams. Obviously, Oklahoma City won the 3-point percentage. Efficiency shooting, it's been Indiana through all these playoffs. I think they're top 3 within the playoff run with efficiency shooting behind Oklahoma City and New York. Those were the 3 best teams, I believe. So you're going to have efficient shooting. You're going to have to be able to rebound. But the thing that really just is eye-opener to me with game 1 and 2, and probably going to be a big factor in game 3 is limiting turnovers. That's what it's going to be, in my opinion.
I completely agree with that. I mean, 100%. That has been the kind of the lingering factor, if you will, for Indiana over the past 2 games. And I feel like obviously you're in your house now, so that should naturally limit your turnover potential. But you do need to have a real big emphasis on the turnovers because, yes, you ended up squeaking out a win on game 1, didn't do so well on game 2. Now you've got to really lock down on that because you need to win this 3rd game.
Yeah, I would kind of sort of piggyback on it. I think points off turnovers and transition points.
And that's been all Indiana.
Fast break points. Now, Indiana won in game 1, but Oklahoma City won it in game 2. That's been the big difference. And like you mentioned, that's what Indiana wants to get up and down the court, wants to shoot quickly, wants to take advantage and get the ball out quickly off rebounds, off turnovers. Did that pretty well, especially in the second half in game 1. Didn't do that at all in game number 2. So that's going to be the big difference, I think, between these two is who wins in the back and forth turnover transition game.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right, so we got some more NBA news. Well, just when you think the New York Knicks has got their guy, everyone is turning down the Knicks at this point in time. New report, Dallas Mavericks have told them they can't talk to Jason Kidd. That joins the Houston Rockets and the Minnesota Timberwolves with Ime Udoka and Chris Finch. So each and every day that we go, firing their coach looks worse and worse and worse.
Yep.
I really don't get the aspect of going after another team's head coach. I mean, I get it from a standpoint, but why are you trying to go get another team's coach if they're obviously they're both really good teams? Why would you want to, if you're Ime Udoka, why would you want to leave Houston? You got a chance to possibly get Giannis in the postseason via trades and all that stuff. If you're looking at Minnesota, you've got Ant-Man, who probably, their future is looking bright. Dallas, Jason Kidd's the only one that I would think is, maybe the one closest to probably budging on that. But, I mean, just, there's somebody out there. I mean, there's an assistant coach out there that you could bring in. I know, they want big names, people that put butts in seats. But, it's just one of those things where you just got to look at the landscape of the NBA and be like, okay, who's the best available for not for the New York Knicks, but for the personnel of the guys you got on the court. That's the way I look at it.
I completely agree, and the thing that strikes me is, you make a good point. They're wanting a big name, or at least, I say big name, but good coach in today's NBA. So, yeah, you're going to go after Jason Kidd, you're going to go after, all these other guys, but the fact that they are saying no, or they say no, or the organization says no, you cannot talk to them. That goes back to kind of what we talked about yesterday, which was the idea or the thought that if they did this, being the Knicks, fire their coach, what are you doing now? Now you're making it look less desirable as a position.
What's the backup plan?
The backup plan? And honestly, each day I think about it now, and now the fact that we have coaches that are saying, nope, we don't want to talk with you, did the New York Knicks have an impulse? And this was a impulse fire because all the fan base was crying and screaming, saying, oh, we can't get past the Eastern Conference Finals. We should have done it, blah, 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 blah. Yes, I get it. You probably should have, made a better effort to get there because you did not look that well against Indiana. But still, that seemed like it was an impulse fire because he's done a very good job. He took them to the playoffs, 4 straight years or something like that, 3 straight years? Yeah. And now you're just like, all right, see ya. It's a head scratcher.
It's just like in college football. You don't fire your coach unless you know you've got a good backup plan.
Exactly.
Or you have a better plan in place. It's like we talked about yesterday with the Atlanta Braves. Okay, you can fire Brian Snicker, but who are you going to bring in
exactly
after that?
The
options aren't
promote
great.
Freddie Gonzalez from third base back to
God bless your hearts on that. We talked about him a couple of weeks ago, Freddie, but it's just one of those things, guys. But the New York Knicks are known for making impulse decisions.
Yes.
That's kind of with their ownership, with the fan base. And quite honestly, from what I've seen on social media, most Knicks fans, even though they were frustrated with Tibbs, really didn't want him gone because they knew they would be in this position right now.
I mean, they knew they'd be in this position, but the thing that just, it's a head-scratcher, I get it. I was going into this playoff series, and I said, okay, if he can't get past the semifinals, he's got to go. and you beat the reigning champions, the Boston Celtics. I know Boston didn't have anything go their way, had some injuries, couldn't make shots. Bless their hearts, they couldn't make shots at all unless they were just you got a guy right in your face compared to wide open shots that they couldn't make. But then again, you just got to look at like, okay, you got past that point. So I mean, I get it. The way he did not do a good job coaching in the conference finals, in my opinion. Yeah. But he's always been that way. Yeah. Whenever it comes to playoffs, he's got his 6 to 7 guys that he plays, and that's what he did. And again, I don't know what his situation or his relationship with Karl-Anthony Towns was. I know it was a kind of a last minute acquire in the off season going into this upcoming year or this past upcoming season. But it is a head scratcher. I mean, I see where they're coming from, but I mean, you just got to look at the landscape of the NBA. Who's out there? Obviously, Malone is out there. He's probably the top guy to probably get the job. Former Denver Nuggets head coach, won the championship a few years ago with them in 2023. So right now, I mean, I'd say he's the guy to do it. But then again, if you're a New York Knicks fan, you're probably just scratching your head wondering why.
Yeah, I mean, if you're firing somebody because of Karl-Anthony Towns, you really need to
think about
evaluate your priorities. Speaking of big-time stars, it looks like the Phoenix Suns, Kevin Durant, are shopping around I believe he's 38 years old right now, teams that are reportedly interested: Houston Rockets, San Antonio Spurs, Miami Heat, Minnesota Timberwolves, and the New York Knicks. So obviously he's trying to go to a winner. He doesn't have much time left here, but I don't know. You would have to give up something big because of his contract for him, and I don't know. Miami probably could give up the most and be okay, or at least be in the same spot. But the rest of these teams, I have a feeling, are going to have to give up a lot to get him.
I mean, you got to look at the teams that are probably in okay, we want to win now. So I look at Houston. Houston, obviously, they're going to have to give up some guys. They do have the Kentucky guard Shepherd, who didn't play at all last year. Was the third pick for them last year. You can give him up. You can give up. I'm not giving up Amen Thompson from Houston. I'm not giving him up. I'll give up Jalen Green just because he's not a very good three-point shooter. He's a really good scorer, but he's not a good three-point shooter. So that's from Houston's standpoint. If you're Boston, who you going to give up? I mean, you can give up Jaylen Brown, but you're basically going to waste a year because you're going to lose. You're not going to have Jason Tatum basically all this this next upcoming season. Then you got to look at New York. Obviously, New York is going to be there. Who a lot of people probably think that KD should have been there in the first place instead of going to Brooklyn. New York's going to be there. What are you going to give up for him? You're going to give up Karl-Anthony Towns?
Really?
Do it. Bridges, I'm sure they'll give him up because Bridges, New York gave up 5 first-round picks to get him. Right. So they'll probably shop him. Bridges, obviously, he's a good defender, but he's probably not been living up to the expectation of New York. Yeah. Brunson's obviously staying. Maybe OG Anunoby, you could shop him. I'm probably keeping Josh Hart. I'm New York. So there's a lot of options. San Antonio's out there. If Wemby comes back, you could probably – I know you got Darren Fox. You got a bunch of young guys, probably like Devin Vassell. You could probably move him and stuff like that. So those are probably some like big time names. Miami, I don't know really what you're gonna give up for Miami, but who knows? Yeah.
Just, I mean, at the end of the day, it just is another. He's getting up in age, and he still has a lot to contribute. He's still a very, very good player, but who's going to be the best fit with what you have? Because what's his? I don't know if you're able to look at it quick, but I don't remember what his contract, like how big that contract was that he has. Yeah. If it's a big price to pay, you're probably going to have to give someone up. But
I think it's 170.
Is it 170? If you're going to get him, then you're probably going to have to give something away. But what can you retain to incorporate him and make your team better than what it is? Well, and that's where I'm like, I don't really know. Just thinking about it, who might be the best fit to do that? It could be Boston. It could be Miami. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing you've got to look at from Phoenix standpoint. What is Phoenix looking for? Are they looking for, some players back, or are they looking for draft picks? Yeah. I can go ahead and tell you, I know what it is. It's a draft pick.
Draft picks, yeah.
They want their next first-round pick is not till 2031. Yeah. So they're going to have to use something.
Yeah, it's a ways away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're going to have to get not just player assets to incorporate and even out the contract, but they're also going to be like, okay, we also want some first-round picks. So they're kind of rocking a hard place. Yeah. And obviously, with the new hiring of I can't remember his name, but the assistant coach for Cleveland being the new head coach for Phoenix, obviously that tells you that he's probably going to be, looking for a trade. Kevin Durant is. I'm surprised Devin Booker hadn't been looking for a trade either.
Yeah.
As long as he's been there.
Yeah.
So
A lot out there. Well, guys, coming up next, we're talking some football. We got some hot seat talk. We're going to start off in the world of college football when we return here on Exports Today.
Arctic Air keeps your home or business comfortable. For more than 20 years, we provided outstanding residential and commercial services through southern Middle Tennessee. Whether you need assistance with your heat, air conditioning, preventive maintenance, or anything in between, trust our reliable team to get the job done. We'll take the time to figure out your specific needs and recommend what we believe is right and best for your situation.
We've been using Arctic Air for over 15 years now. Their service is great, they're here when we need them, and their prices are competitive. They take the worry out of the heat and air so I don't have to.
Arctic Air, when you need us, we'll be there.
Why should you bank with Employee Resources Credit Union? We offer a wealth of services, including mobile banking, video banking, bill pay, and more. We also offer loan rates that are lower than those of our competitors. Employee Resources Credit Union has been a financial pillar since 1964, providing long-time support to members of the community. Join us and become part of the ERCU commitment, not for profit, for service.
Since 1955, Evers Construction has been the company folks have trusted for residential and commercial construction projects. Today, Evers is still the leader in building and is just as committed to maintaining. From residential to commercial and industrial, Evers' team of experts stands ready to install, service, and repair all your HVAC and plumbing needs. Specializing in leak repair, maintenance, air duct cleaning and repair, air handler service, drain cleaning, gas line work, emergency unit repair, inspections, and more. Evers Construction offers a preventative maintenance package to keep your home or business cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Trained, trusted, reliable. For more information or to schedule an appointment with the pros who know, phone 931-762-3593 or visit eversconstructionco.com. Evers Construction Company in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee.
Why should you bank with Employee Resources Credit Union? We offer a wealth of services, including mobile banking, video banking, bill pay, and more. We also offer loan rates that are lower than those of our competitors. Employee Resources Credit Union has been a financial pillar since 1964, providing long-time support to members of the community. Join us and become part of the ERCU commitment, not for profit, for service.
Pat's Cafe and Catering has been proudly serving customers in Lawrenceburg since 1987. For 4 generations, our family-run cafe has served up delicious breakfast and lunch favorites, with friendly service and a welcoming atmosphere. We also offer full-service catering and can help to make your next party or event a success. For great food and friendly faces, visit us today at Pat's Cafe and Catering.
Going the distance for local sports. This is Exports Today.
Welcome back to Exports Today. AJ Good, joined by Taylor Plott and Hayden Burks. And guys, got a little football talk, and we're talking head coaches and not in a good way today. Yeah. When I say the word hot seat going into 2025, first name that pops into your all's head.
Mine would be Stoops.
Ooh.
I would say for Kentucky.
Oh, a name I have not seen on any hot seat list.
Yeah, that would be mine for sure. Just because, you've had good competitive seasons, but what what's the standard for Kentucky football? Like, can this dude lose every game if he wants to and not get there? Now, I would say Franklin. Franklin would be another one, but then again, you got to look at the Big Ten, the way he performed last year in the playoffs. I mean, you know, what can you say? I mean, the resume is right there in front of him.
I have Penn State family, and I mean, they actually had I guess he would be considered a cousin of mine, but he played on that team. I think he's a senior this year. Anyway, they absolutely love Franklin, so he has to do something. He has to have a really, really bad season, I think, for he to be considered a
Brian Kelly, he's one. I'm not going to put. I know Dusty's not going to agree with it, but I'm not going to put DeBoer on the hot seat yet. Now, if they don't go if they go 7-5, then he's on the hot seat. He's on the hot seat because you're Alabama. I'm sorry, there's no going below 8-4. That's for sure in Alabama.
Here's some. Well, I'll let you go. What's the first name that pops in?
The first, I have two names.
Okay.
And first one's going to be Hugh Freeze.
All right.
Hugh Freeze.
Because that one, I mean, Auburn's still looking for a coach that just can put things together, and they have not found that yet. And if Hugh Freeze has another 6-6, you know, heck, maybe even a 7-4 type of season, I think they might end up parting ways with him. And I will say this: it's not a hot seat yet. My hot seat pick would be Hugh Freeze. You're sitting on a seat and there's a burner underneath you that is just ready to be turned on, and it is DeBoer. I will say that if you do not make the playoffs this year, then that burner gets put on, and you are in the hot seat. And if you do not do that in your third year, he's going to be gone.
I'm not going to say Ryan Day either, just because I know the Michigan. He just won a national title. He just won a national title. I think they're okay.
He saved his job.
Yeah, he saved his job right there. If he didn't win a national title, but I would say not because of his coaching. And of course, it is LSU, but for the comment he said, Brian Kelly, for saying Notre Dame cannot get to a national championship or win a national championship. They proved him wrong last year, and that's making him look bad. It's making him look really bad.
I would definitely, if I had to give like a list of coaches, Brian Kelly would be on there because I feel like you've had some really good LSU teams that should have been Heisman Trophy winners, and something's just not clicking right. So,
Hugh Freeze was one of the names I had on this list. He 11-14 at Auburn, 5-11 in the SEC. Auburn's the worst place to be when you have losing seasons. Because they want to fire coaches that get you to national championship games. Let's look at Auburn's schedule here. They open up at Baylor on a Friday night, a rare Friday night game for an SEC. Back home against Ball State, back home against South Alabama. You never know what South Alabama's going to bring to the table. Then you're at Oklahoma, at Texas A&M, back for Georgia, in Missouri, at Arkansas, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, then you get Mercer. After a week off, you get Mercer. Then you host Alabama. I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy,
but the thing is, and I know, you know, people who know me be like, oh, well, he's an Alabama fan, so he's gonna be biased and stuff. I do try to take a, you know, an unbiased as much as I can approach to Auburn athletics, and This is the make or break season for Hugh Freeze. If he is not able to make a bowl game, let alone win a bowl game, then I think his job there at Auburn is done. And then they're going to look at it, and just like what we talked about with the Knicks, you've just made your team look unpalpable, just not a good look. You don't want to take that job. Right. They knock Hugh Freeze out. That's just, again, a knockdown to where people, even really good coaches who I think would do a really, really good job down there on the Plains, they're going to take a look at that job and be like, because I know if I don't do well in 3 years, I'm gone.
Well, he hasn't recruited well, hasn't developed a quarterback. I mean, and this is a guy known for developing quarterbacks, quote unquote. You know, you can see what he did at Ole Miss, and a lot of people would kind of have an argument with you there. But they always had explosive offenses. And honestly, I think kind of what has doomed Hugh Freeze and kind of hurt his reputation was losing that game 2 years ago at the buzzer against Alabama. I think that is what has really sunk his reputation with people on the Plains.
They need to do a study on some of these Iron Bowl games
Yeah,
where,
yeah,
I mean, I understand that, obviously rivalry game, the lights are big and everything like that.
Yeah.
But just some of the ways that Alabama has won against Auburn down there in Auburn after the stuff that they did to Alabama.
Right.
It's like, what? Something's weird down there.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody says like, oh, it's like on Indian burial ground or anything like that, but something they need to do a study on that because there's bizarre things that have happened down there.
Rebuild Legion Field and just make them play at Legion Field every year in Birmingham. That would be fun. Here's some of the names I've seen on the list. Brent Venables at Oklahoma, 3 years there. He's 22-17, a pair of 6 and 7 seasons. Did have that big win at home a year ago there towards the end of the year. But taking a look at Oklahoma's schedule, after Illinois State, you host Michigan at Temple, then you host Auburn. After a week off, you get Kent State, then you get Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Alabama in a row. And also you got Missouri, and then you end the year with LSU.
Yeah, that's not a good schedule.
It's not.
No.
But that could, if you go back and look at some of the Oklahoma teams that they've had of recent, they start decent and then they just end up falling apart throughout the remainder of the season. So don't be shocked if you see Oklahoma by like week 4 or week 5, possibly undefeated, beating Michigan, but then who knows what happens after that.
And he's just one of those guys. Remember, he was at Clemson forever.
Yep.
Didn't want to take a head coaching job because he had it good there. Then finally Oklahoma pops up, and he takes that job, and he probably took it at the worst
time.
possible time to take it. Another name on the list, Sam Pittman, 5 years at Arkansas, is going to year number 6. He's 27-27. Remember how bad Arkansas was and he took over during COVID, which is
That was a rough time.
That was a rough time, but he's had 7-6, 4-8 years. Have him on thin ice here, guys, and the program, just when you thought they were going to kind of take that next step, it's certainly dipped down a little bit back to where Arkansas's been over the last 2 decades.
Yeah, well, it's, honestly, if there was a comparison I would have with Arkansas stuff is Texas A&M, where, I mean, the records would be not really comparable, but the overall feel, I think, is comparable, where you have good, big expectations, you seem like you have a good team, and it just never really comes to fruition. And, we saw what happened with A&M over the offseason, and then what's going to happen with Arkansas.
Yeah, and look at their schedule after 2 pretty winnable games against Alabama A&M and Butch Jones's Arkansas State Red Rules. Brick by brick, baby.
What a loser.
This is their schedule after this. It's crazy. Ole Miss, Memphis, Notre Dame, week off, Tennessee, A&M, Auburn, Mississippi State, week off, LSU, Texas, Missouri.
That's not a good one either.
Wow.
I mean, I just read that.
At the end of the year, LSU in Texas.
It just got worse and worse and worse. I mean, I think we just read the obituary for both Brent Venables and
Sam Pittman.
Probably,
Sam Pittman, and just
where are they at? Is it at LSU and at Texas?
Oh shoot, I just clicked out of it. I think they host. Well, I think they play Texas A&M in Dallas. That's kind of been
it's the old Southwestern Conference game.
Traditional thing that they do, and then I think LSU's at home, but
I think they played them on the road last year.
Yeah, so
that's right, they did.
Yeah.
I just know they play them. I just clicked out there at the last second. Well, another name I see on this list, and honestly, I thought he kind of saved his job last year because remember he was the guy at the top of the list last year when it comes to hot seats, and that's Billy Napier, and I've already seen his name back on those lists again. Yeah, I don't feel. I thought the best coaching job in college football last year was Billy Napier.
Yeah. Good. I mean, we talked about on our live shows. Clint said at the start of the year, Billy Napier was easily on the hot seat. Yeah. He won his job back last year. The way he coached, he's going to have a Heisman front runner with DJ Lagway, one of those guys. I mean, that guy, he's a stud. Lagway is. I mean, so it's if I'm a Florida fan, I'm not looking to fire Billy Napier.
Well, and the thing is, he has the team behind him.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's got a group behind him. I mean, what'd they go last year? 8-4?
8-4, I think, or 8-5, something like
with
that.
With the second toughest schedule in the country.
It was the toughest schedule.
It was the toughest schedule. I knew it was. I thought it was second.
And they look like a completely different team towards the end of the season.
You really turned it on. This is their schedule: LIU, which is Long Island University, USF, at LSU, at Miami. That's back-to-back weeks. Week off, home versus Texas, at A&M, home versus Mississippi State, week off, home versus, Jacksonville versus Georgia, at Kentucky, at Ole Miss, home versus Tennessee, home versus Florida State.
That's a 9-3 season.
Yeah, that's not a bad schedule.
Yeah. It reads a little bit better because you never, if that team progresses like they did a year ago, that could be a 10-win.
Yeah, a 10-win. That could be a playoff
team. Yeah.
Now speaking of the team at the end of it, Mike Norvell, you thought going into last year this dude had it made.
Yep.
And then, oh my gosh, how can you go from you're that close to the portal, and because of the school down the road here broke your quarterback's leg.
Yep.
You don't make it into the playoff. You go undefeated, and then you get smashed by Georgia. And 2024 is such a massive failure, and now you're sitting here on the hot seat. After this time a year ago, you were the guy everyone was talking about.
Yeah, I will say this: if I had to pick a coach to be fired during the season, it would be him, but only if they go winless in their first 3 games. Yeah. If they start 0-3, maybe 0-4 a stretch, but if they definitely start 0-3, I think by week 4 you're going to see a thing where he gets fired.
I think it might be one of those things where even if he does win a game within that stretch, I wouldn't think they'll fire him before ACC play, but if ACC play is starting to struggle, where you're losing to teams like Boston College and teams like that, they're not as strong with the ACC. He's out, in my opinion.
Look at their schedule. If they go 0-3 at this first 3, he deserves to be fired. Alabama at home.
Yep.
That's going to be that's on Saturday. It's the 3:30 game, not the prime time. Then East Texas A&M, which I did not know was a Division I team until right at this moment.
Sounds like an AI team.
Yeah.
Week off, Kent State. So that's your first 3.
That's the first 3.
And they should destroy Kent State.
And then you're in the conference play at Virginia, home versus Miami, home versus Pitt, at Stanford, week off, home versus Wake Forest, at Clemson, home versus Virginia Tech, at NC State, at Florida.
Yeah.
There's at least 8 wins there.
Yeah.
If you get the talent that Florida State can get, and that he has gotten there before, that's an 8-win season.
It should.
At least.
It should. And you thought about that last year too.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw what happened. So again, that's where I'm completely with you, Hayden. I think that if you do go and start in ACC play, and who was their first one? It was like Boston College, and then
it was Virginia,
Pittsburgh,
Miami,
Miami,
and Pitt.
And then Pitt.
So if you really struggle with that, and you're starting to get towards that last third of your season, and you're like sitting there 2-5 or something like that, that's probably he's going to be gone at that point.
He would get fired like Butch Jones would be, where after like a loss to Missouri that was not a good team, there'd be an ACC team that I can't remember the schedule, but like I said, like a Boston College or a team that probably wouldn't think about them losing to or shouldn't lose to.
Right.
that would probably be the green light to get him out of there. Then you look at Lincoln Riley at USC, guys. Went 7-6 a year ago after an 11-3 year. His first year at USC was great after, making all those playoffs, winning Big 12 championships at Oklahoma. Goes to USC, starts off great, but he's had some subpar years there. And last year, 7-6. A lot of people are starting to really question how good of a coach he is, how well does he handle the pressure, and has defenses across the country caught up to him.
I think he's a good coach, but is he a coach that will take you to a deep playoff run and actually win a national championship? I don't think so.
Not at all.
I think he's more of he relies more on, I have this much talent, and that's going to be able to be the enough coaching that I'm able to have. And they do their own thing, and they're good enough, and they win. And you don't have a really good quarterback. You don't have a good wide receiver core. You don't have the talent in place to take you there. Yeah. So you can't be a good coach to make them take that next step. Yeah. And, if he doesn't have a good team around him, I don't think that he's going to be able to make it.
I mean, I really don't think it just comes down to a good team. I think if he doesn't even have a good quarterback, that they won't succeed, because that's been his bread and butter ever since he was at Oklahoma and now at USC. If he doesn't have not even a subpar, he's got to have a almost elite quarterback to succeed at his, where he's at. Because UFC, they've shown spurts of being good. They kind of had Penn State on the ropes when they played them at USC. Yeah. So, they've shown spurts of being good, but then again, like you got to have that elite quarterback. I mean, Caleb Williams, even with Caleb Williams, the Heisman Trophy winner and the number 1 pick, he still struggled.
Yeah. But that's the thing. You need to have that. If you look at all those good teams that he's had that actually had good records, he's had outstanding quarterbacks. So you're exactly right.
Their schedule: home versus Missouri State, a brand new 1A team, Georgia Southern, at Purdue, Michigan State, at Illinois, week off. Home versus Michigan, at Notre Dame. By the way, keep that series alive. We need some sort of tradition to stay alive in the sport. Then week off at Nebraska, home versus Northwestern Iowa, at Oregon, home versus UCLA. But I'm looking right now. Purdue's got a coach probably on the hot seat that no one's talking about. You know how good Michigan and Notre Dame are going to be. Iowa, if they continue the trend up with what they're doing offensively, you never know which Northwestern team is going to show up year in. I think it's on the odd year.
It's the odd year.
It might be a good for them.
Really good. Yep.
And then you're at Oregon. I mean, it's an underrated tough schedule. I don't know if there's 8-9 wins there for this team. I really don't know.
I think max 7 wins. I think.
Yeah. And I think when you look at where there's a couple guys in the Big 12, Dave Aranda at Baylor, and then you got Mike Gundy over at Oklahoma State. Now you would think Gundy has that job locked up for a long time, but there's a lot of people with some serious restlessness over at Oklahoma State because they yo-yo so much. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they mediocre? And a lot of teams went into that building, including mine, who fired their coach, by the way, went into Stillwater and beat the dog crap out. Beat the brakes out. So I think Mike Gundy's certainly on that.
I'm surprised Gundy hasn't already been fired. I mean, at this point.
Well, that's just another one of those things. We talked about James Franklin earlier. It's like the Oklahoma State loves Mike Gundy. He's a fan favorite. He's loved in the locker room. He's loved within the just entire university. The thing, though, that I think has now trended to where he's in the hot seat more now is the fact that you have an expanded playoff. And if you look at the Oklahoma State teams that he's had, if you had the expanded playoff for 10 years already, Oklahoma State's going to be in there about eight out of those 10 years probably. And so now you have that expanded playoff. It's now easier to get into that. Oklahoma State should be in that contention.
And it's kind of shaky as the Big 12 conference is when it comes to football.
You look at their schedule, UT Martin at home, at Oregon, week number 2. That's kind of an underrated game. Week off, home versus Tulsa. And speaking of Dave Aranda, they got Baylor for their first Big 12 game at Arizona, Houston, Cincinnati at home, at Texas Tech, at Kansas. Kansas continues that momentum after how good they were at the end of last year. That's a pretty tricky game. Week off, and then you end at home versus Kansas State, at UCF, home versus Iowa State. So, I mean, there's certainly 8-9 wins there, but there's also 8 or 9 losses if you don't come out and play.
Yeah, that's what the Kansas game really opened my eye, because then again, it seems like with Kansas, you never know what team's going to show up at the start of the year. They might be good at the start of the year and then fall off towards the end of the year, or they could start off slow at the start of the year and finish off strong like they did last year.
Dave Aranda, they've yo-yoed a lot over at Baylor too. He's kind of an underrated Mike Gundy. This is their schedule. Not easy, guys. They got home versus Auburn, at SMU. Now then they get Samford. Then they're home versus Arizona State, at Oklahoma State, home versus Kansas State, week off, at TCU, which they yo-yo a lot too, at Cincinnati, home versus UCF, week off, Utah, at Arizona, Houston.
It's not easy.
No,
I mean Utah and Houston. That's good, I think, in my opinion, to end the season off. Utah, you don't know what's going to happen, especially
if you
after
think
last
of all
year.
the top teams in the Big 12 going into the year. I think the bulk of them are on the schedule right now. So it's certainly a lot's up in the air. Well, guys, we still got some more hot seat talk to come. This time we're going to go to the pro side. A lot of guys might be getting the pink slip if they don't turn it around. That's coming up next.
The storm doesn't ask. It takes. It tests. It pushes everything to its limit. Some things are built different. Some things are built to last. Tested by the elements. Proven by time. Engineered for whatever comes next. Summertown Metals. Strength in every storm. building dreams that last.
State Line Garage Doors, owned and operated by Justin Gobble, is your trusted local expert in garage door services. Based in Lawrence County, Tennessee, State Line Garage Doors is built on over a decade of hands-on experience, providing reliable repairs, replacements, and installations for all types of garage doors, residential and commercial. They proudly serve our community and the surrounding areas. When you work with State Line Garage Doors, you're not just another job, you're part of our community. Their commitment to quality, transparency, and craftsmanship is at the heart of what they do, and they offer free estimates. State Line Garage Doors. Reach out to discover the difference a company with local roots can make for your home and business.
Gifts and goodies galore await you at Miss Millie's in downtown Lawrenceburg. From brands you know and love, like E. Newton Jewelry and Tyler Diva Wash, to unique specialty gifts, you will find it all here. Whether you're looking for the perfect gift for someone you love or shopping for yourself, shopping local is the way to go. We have home goods, women's fashion and accessories, baby items, and lots of seasonal decorations. Our friendly staff will welcome you in, help you find what you need, and even package your gifts for you. Also, we can't forget to tell you about our popular bridal registry. Future brides can come and create their perfect registry with us. So stop by Miss Millie's today. We're located in the northeast corner of the square in downtown Lawrenceburg.
Welcome to the newly remodeled Brass Lantern. For over 30 years, we've been serving delicious food to excellent people. Brass Lantern takes pride in authenticity, serving fresh, homemade food to please any member of the family. From mouth-watering to one-of-a-kind steaks served with gourmet marinade, to salad with our signature honey mustard dressing, specialty fruit tea, drafts, and much more. Our food is always prepared daily. Whether you come in with friends or family, you'll appreciate that fresh is better.
If you're looking for a company that can do it all when it comes to building, look no further than Tenakee Properties. From new home builds to remodels and commercial projects, our contractors work hard to give your space a new life from planning to finishing touches. Whether it's new interiors or dirt work, they see your big picture without forgetting the small details. In the market for a new home, they partnered with Freeman Development to bring new homes to the Oak Hill subdivision of Lawrenceburg. That's Tenakee Properties, licensed and insured. Call today or visit Tenakee.com.
Got a dent, a ding, a scratch, or a bent fender? Major or minor, Car Country Collision Center in Leoma can fix you up. Car Country works with all insurance carriers, gives free estimates, can work on foreign and domestic vehicles, and has experience you can trust. They've been in business since 1990. Unfortunately, accidents happen, but you can get your car back on the road with as little hassle as possible with the help of Car Country. Call 931-852-4708 or stop by at 2567 Highway 43 South in Leoma.
Hey, this is Phil Hooper. Get the look you want for your favorite school, church, or business with apparel from HD Ink Screen Printing in Leoma, Tennessee. Got a logo you need embroidered or screen printed? Let HD Ink give you the professional look that sets the bar in today's world. We do fundraisers and custom designed apparel and so much more. Call today, 931-201-2961, or come see us at our new shop located at 26 Ingram Road in Leoma. Remember, HD Ink for the look you want and the look you deserve.
Going the distance for local sports. This is X Sports Today.
All right, guys, we go to our final segment here of the show. At first, we started to look at the college coaching hot seat. Now we go to the NFL. Asked you guys the same question as I did on the college side. Your hot seat when it comes to the NFL, what's the first name that comes to mind?
Oh, first name that comes to mind in my mind is obviously I had his name on my mind, but I didn't. New Orleans coach.
Okay.
I had his name, but I lost it. But obviously with that group, now I get it. You know, you have Spencer Rattler, probably going to be the starting quarterback. You just brought in the quarterback from Louisville, Schloe, I think is how you say his name, Tyler Schloe. He's coming in. You just lost Derek Carr. He's no longer with the team, had a medical retirement. So it's going to be tough from that. But then again, you look at New Orleans, the struggles they've had with their team. I think he's going to be one of them. Brian Callahan, I know it's only going to be his second season, but if you're a Titans fan, you just got the number 1 pick, Cam Ward. Obviously a lot looking forward to with that. Got the new football stadium coming to Nashville. It's supposedly it's ahead of schedule. So, I mean, it was supposed to be here 2026.
Right.
So, going into next season, you could be looking at a rebranding too, where they're going to change the colors back to the Oilers colors. So, you got to look at kind of all the aspects of maybe just kind of starting off fresh with a new quarterback and possibly a new coach there in Tennessee.
Yeah, Kellen Moore's the new head coach there for the Saints.
Yeah.
And he's known as an offensive genius, and you've got a team that's struggled offensively. If you don't come in and have success right from the get-go.
Yeah, because those New Orleans fans are crazy.
Yeah, they are. Really, if you're going out there 4-12, 5,
you're gone.
Or 4-13, they play 17 game, or 5-12. Might be a quick hook, and the NFL's been doing that lately. So he's got.
And their division is wide open, really. If you think about, Tampa, they're probably the favorites. Atlanta's probably a favorite. Carolina, you don't know about Carolina really. So it's just kind of based off of what New Orleans can do, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm gonna put a guy out there that he's not starting on the hot seat, in my opinion.
Okay.
But depending on how things progress through the season, and especially how they perform playoff wise, Mike McDaniel. Because I feel like there's been a lot of teams down there in Florida that they seem like they should be really, really good. And I know you have problems with Tua, and he's injury prone, and he's still a really, really good quarterback. But it seems like you've kind of somewhat underperformed, especially going into the playoffs. Now, I know you didn't get this last season? They had to play in Kansas City with 20 degrees outside. Obviously, you're getting a bad break with that, but it seems like they should be performing a little bit better than they have been. So whether or not that's him getting fired at the end of the season, if that happens, but at least going into maybe 2026 into 2027, you might end up starting on the hot seat at that point.
He's the name at the top of the list on every list that I've read when it comes to NFL coaching. He's had some success, but it doesn't seem like your stars are happy there. Tua is, but some of your other stars aren't happy. His players do like him, but at the end of the day, it's like you sort of mentioned, you got to make your own breaks. You don't want to play in Kansas City in December. Well, don't fall apart down the stretch. Put your quarterback in good situations. If you're going to be known as an offensive genius, it doesn't matter who your quarterback is. If you're an offensive genius, I think Mike needs to prove that a little bit more. You mentioned they do have Brian Callahan on this list. He's getting the first overall pick. I think they're going to give him at least one more year. See how he does here with Cam Ward. But if this goes off the rails bad, they might find a way to get rid of him, because if they're going to try to put this team in a new stadium by as early as next season, you might, if this guy ain't getting it done, you might want to bring in some new blood to start things off.
Fresh stadium, fresh start.
Fresh stadium. And I think a lot of that pressure goes on to firing Mike Vrabel. Now he's the head coach for the Patriots.
Yeah.
So I think that has, I know a lot of people probably wouldn't look at it that way, but, some people do look at it that way. Another name I throw out there, even though this will be his first season, but we all know that this is probably the craziest fan base.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll with the Raiders.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. If he don't turn around quick, those fans will turn on him quick too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
especially since they have tried everything.
Everything.
They've tried Gruden, they've tried McDaniels.
Yep.
I feel bad for Pierce. I thought Pierce was actually doing a pretty decent job
there,
too. But they never really attached themselves to him. I would say the organization. I think the fans did. But here's one of the biggest names to me is Dable with the Giants. They have given him in New York the biggest leash ever. He had that awesome playoff run in 2022. 2023 wasn't great. 24 wasn't great. And now, you put all your eggs in the basket with Daniel Jones. Now he's not there anymore. They didn't, they took a guy in the first round not many people expected to take at the quarterback position. This guy's got a lot to prove. And he's best friends with everyone in that organization, but at the end of the day, they're not going to go
You got to win games.
They're not going to go down sinking the Titanic with him.
Yeah.
You got to win some games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, out of all of the team, I mean, me make a great point. Yeah. This is a New York team, the New York Giants, and they're giving you a leash like that. I mean, that should not only just be an honor in itself, but that should be, I mean, you should be forever grateful that they're giving you this much of an opportunity, because you're right, New York fan base, everything like that. I mean, your rear end would have been fired probably last year.
Yeah.
So here you go. Here's another chance. And I feel like they should have – I will say this. If I had to pick a team that you might not expect to have some success this year, it might be the New York Giants. They might end up surprising some people, because I do think that he's a good coach, but I think that he's had kind of – I feel like he's had certain pieces in place, but he has not had the complete puzzle yet done.
I think he's a really good offensive coach. I don't think he's an overall great head coach.
No.
He could prove me wrong. I think his offensive mind is great, but when you think about that division, okay, you got the Super Bowl champion and the team they beat in the conference championship game to get to the Super Bowl, and then Dallas, who's just trying to turn into the New York Yankees, just throw a bunch of money at a bunch of guys and see what happens.
Yeah.
And they brought George Pickens into their organization.
Bless their hearts.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Whoops.
Yeah. Well, here's another team that I would think it's in the AFC North. I know they've got a really good quarterback, but he, in my opinion, still haven't proven he's elite. Zach Taylor with the Bengals.
He's on this. He's on the list. I mean, that team they ended the year so well, and I was rooting for them so good.
But they started off so poor.
They started off so poor. But dude, if they would have gotten into the postseason,
they would have done some damage.
They would have gone to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they would have done some
damage. In my mind, they would have got there.
Absolutely.
But again, that's another year with a bad start. I don't want to question someone's coaching ethics in the offseason, but how does Joe Burrow keep getting hurt in practice? He never gets hurt in games. He gets getting hurt in practice.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing.
I
ain't got it. But I can't say anything about that. You never know.
It's hard for me to say something either, but I'm like, practice is not what it used to be in the NFL.
No.
All these new rules, but this guy keeps getting hurt in your practices. Like, what is going on here?
I don't think I've ever seen a season so far with Joe Burrow, at least from an NFL standpoint, where he has not come into the beginning of the season with some type of injury.
Yeah. And then they got a big defensive player that's holding out. They lost another defensive player in free agency to another team. So this guy's got a lot to prove. I think he's a good coach. Obviously, he's taken this team to a Super Bowl before, and Joe Burrow, and they've kept a lot of those guys a part of this team. Has kept his wideouts, kept his core offensive core there. Shane Steichen at the Colts.
I was literally about to say that.
He's going into year number 3. I think we all know his quarterback choice in Anthony Richardson a couple of years ago was turning into a thorn in everyone's side there, because you don't know about his commitment level at this point. I don't think they should have drafted him in the first place, in the first round, but they've kind of made their bed with this guy, and they've got to play this out.
Yeah, I think that's a tough one. Also, there's 2 more that I look at. Arizona's coach, Jonathan Gannon. Yeah, he's one, and then also Tampa Bay's coach, Todd Bowles. Yeah, those are 2 other ones. But yeah, Indianapolis are the ones that jump out to me, because they haven't been really just good since they lost their quarterback. I just saw it too. Their quarterback several years ago from Stanford.
Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck. Yeah. I mean, other than that, they haven't had good seasons after that.
They
just can't find. I mean, they can get in the playoffs because their whole division's terrible. But then again, Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco can lead them. But then again, it's just. I mean, they haven't found their guy yet. They've gone through coach after coach after coach, but it's just not been working.
Cleveland's coach is on that list.
That's Cleveland.
Part of that it's Cleveland. Part of it's his organization. I mean, they stuck him with Deshaun Watson. They stuck him with Shedeur Sanders. I mean, that guy is just – I feel so bad for him because he's in such an impossible situation, especially at the quarterback position. Todd Bowles was mentioned. I mean, they've had some good runs, but haven't gotten to the Super Bowl yet. This might be a make-or-break year for that guy. They have Raheem Morris on this list. I'm not a big Raheem Morris fan. I still remember his days in Tampa Bay, and that was a complete – disaster of epic proportions. The big one on this list, and I've been saying this for years, is Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike, he's now got Aaron Rodgers, if you can't make this work with DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers, and you still got this really good defensive core, I know TJ Watt's holding out, but more than likely he's going to re-sign
He should,
with the Steelers. If you can't make this work and at least get to an AFC championship game or win a division, I know the division's tough with Cincinnati and Baltimore, but you with this type of talent, and they're coming there because of you, he's just that typical, and I see it all over the place. I've seen it all over the place in my now my 20-plus years in sports media, that coach that just says the same thing over and over again, the same voice, the same inflection. It's great in training camp. It's great for the first 10 weeks of the season, but after that, you're just shut up, dude. Just draw up the film, get us to game day. Like, can you change something?
Yeah.
And I think Mike Tomlin has kind of been stuck in this rut, and I really think in my mind this is a make or break year for him.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, and look, and everybody's going to point this out. It's like, well, the dude has never had a losing season. Well, it's fine, but how many just one game over 500 seasons has he had, especially over recent? And you feel like that they have had. Yeah, I guess if you look at the team for at least the past, I would say 3 years or so, you're kind of like, okay, yeah, you're kind of more mediocre, I guess. I can understand that. Yeah. But he's had some really good teams that just did not really go that far.
They had the division locked up last year with 4 games left.
Exactly.
And lost it.
Yeah. And even last year's team, you felt like wasn't really that good of a great team. Yeah. You felt like, okay, they make the playoffs, but they probably be knocked out in the wild card or, maybe the second round. But I agree. I feel like he's definitely one of those where, you look at his track record. He has not had a losing season, but still, Pittsburgh Steelers. You're wearing the black and yellow, and that's prideful, and they're supposed to win. Steelers are supposed to win, and that's the end of the day.
That division is super. I almost called it the NL East, but the NFC East is pretty tough, and then that division is really tough. And you mentioned Gannon at Arizona, year number 3 for him. Those are the names I'm seeing on this list, but the big one for me is Tomlin, because if you can't get it done with this collection of talent, and the clock is running out, the Cam Haywards of the world, some of these other kind of aging superstars, the clock is running out on this group. And if you can't get it done, now's not, honestly, they just need to move on. I know it's hard for them to move on because they had Knoll there forever. They had Cower there forever. Now you have Tomlin there. And in a lot of ways, I respect them for doing that. But also, at some point, you got to go, okay, how long are we going to let this? Because if you're making Steeler fans want to not show up, that's bad.
And they're going to show up. That's the thing. Now they're not wanting to show up after they always show up. Yeah, that's a red flag.
Yeah, you don't want to get Pittsburgh Dad mad at you too. If you guys don't know who Pittsburgh Dad is, check him out on YouTube. He's absolutely hilarious. Okay, guys, final thing: predictions for Game 3 tonight. Who's bringing home Game 3 to take a 2-1 series lead?
I think it's Oklahoma. I'm not sure what the spread is. I'm going to say it's probably going to be a 12-plus Oklahoma win. It's going to be tough, though. I feel like it's going to be down the stretch. Both teams going at it head-to-head. In my opinion, I think it's going to be Indiana leading at the half just because it's at their house. Crowd's going to be insane. Pacers Nation's going to show up. But then again, I think I'm going to have Oklahoma coming out on top with Shea. And I'm going to say Crystal's going to have another big game.
Yeah.
I would definitely lean with OKC. I think they, after this game, have a 2-1 lead. But the question I have is, one, what is that halftime score going to be? And I said that they need to do at least one thing, and that is go ahead and punch Indiana in the mouth early on. So I'm going to take OKC. I expect them to have a decent lead going into the second quarter. I feel like it's probably going to be kind of close at halftime, but I think OKC ends up pulling it away, and I think they win probably by 10 points or so.
Yep.
Give me Indiana by 5 in overtime.
Okay. In overtime. Well, overtime. Pacers in overtime are dangerous.
Well, I don't know where. I think the good Lord just showed that to me in a vision, going Joel Osteen on you guys right now, saying Pacers take the lead and then OKC dominates in game 2.
Game 2.
So for Taylor Plott, I'm AJ Good, Hayden Burks over here. For that does it for X Sports Today. We'll see you guys same time tomorrow at 1:30.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.